She probably doesn't wash her ass if her feet look that bad. It's Deidre. Hello, it is Deidre, and tonight, it's actually 1:30 a.m. I literally just opened my Reddit app, and this post on r/dating caught my attention very quickly. It's a question for men asking, what are your biggest physical icks in women? Needless to say, I was curious. And you're probably curious too. So come along with me and I will read them for you, with you. And honestly, I'm curious how much of these are actually true. Curious here, given the other thread about ladies giving icks on men. Oh, I didn't see that one. We're gonna have to do another for the ladies. So would love to see the reverse perspective and the random turn-offs men view on ladies. I guess it's similar in terms of hygiene, odor, breath, personal grooming, etc. But curious to learn more specifics. Of course, all of this is subjective. But I'm just curious to know the perspective. Thanks. I think women vastly overestimate the attractiveness of lip filler. As in, there's not a singular time I have looked at someone and found myself going, oh wow, their lips are so plump, lol. Certainly, on any sort of the enhancement side, it tends to almost always look like a Bogdanov nightmare. And wildly unattractive. What's Bogdanov? Hey Google, what is Bogdanov?
Bogdanov usually refers to the Bogdanov brothers, Igor and Grichka Bogdanov, controversial French TV stars and scientific essayists. Both brothers died from COVID-19 in early 2022.
Wow. Interesting. A Bogdanov nightmare. And wildly unattractive. Please fucking stop, y'all. Please. God, it looks gross. So do BBLs or buccal fat removal surgery. Buccal fat. People generally look pretty as they are. If people do these things, they should be knowingly doing them for themselves and themselves alone. Because I and a lot of people I know have never found them physically attractive. I'm kind of gonna agree about the lip filler. I've seen it work wonders on certain faces. Not every face, just some. And yes, it is true. It can kind of end up looking like a nightmare on the wrong face. Some people's face is just not made for big lips. And I hate the idea of people thinking, oh, fillers, I better get fillers so that I can be beautiful, but it doesn't even work with their face, you know? It's almost like when people choose hair colors. Not everyone's gonna look good with red hair. Not everyone's gonna look good with blonde hair. Not everyone's gonna look good with fillers. I remember growing up, I used to hate how big my lips were. And now, everyone's doing fillers and risking their own beauty for the sake of having big lips. Another person says, I don't really have any icks that are strictly appearance-based, but any kind of smell is a big no from me. And I don't mean I've been outside most of the day working out and kind of sweaty smell. I mean the I haven't bathed in weeks smell. We don't know her. But really? I think that would be a turnoff for pretty much anyone unless they literally had zero standards whatsoever. Another person says, not physical, but I once saw a woman for about a month and she acted more like a mother than a girlfriend. It was borderline patronizing and was a complete turnoff. I stopped seeing her once I realized it was part of her personality. I get that. Yeah, no guy wants to be, well, I won't say no guy, but a lot of guys don't want to be treated like a son. And I'm surprised that it took him a month. Fake lips, heavy caked face, thick Sharpie eyebrows, BBL, nails that resemble Wolverine, and nasal septum piercings because I personally think they look awful. I can see that. I know it's a very popular thing now to get like the little clickers. I think on some people it still looks really cute. But it is true, nearly everyone and their grandma has one right now. Fake lips, yes, we already went over that. Heavy caked face. Some people it works. The heavy makeup works. I don't put makeup like that just because who has the time? I don't. Me sitting here with a septum. Too much makeup or a totally off-colored blend to the rest of their skin tone. Yeah, I get how that can happen. I think it's easy for that to happen because the makeup and the skin takes on different colors or something like that in different types of light. Another reason why I don't bother to do any of that, because when I see a girl whose makeup does not match the rest of her skin, I'm just like, here, kudos for trying because I never will. Bad teeth, face tats, heavy face injections, and plastic surgery. And by plastic surgery, I mean dramatic, completely unnatural plastic surgery. That makes sense. Yeah, I can get being kind of turned off by that because when there's a lot of plastic surgery, I notice that people's faces tend to take on like a very signature expression. You either love it or hate it. Face tats, come on. Being on your phone constantly, taking selfies constantly, giving a shit about social media, thinking I'm going to take photos of you every 2 seconds. Okay. That's very specific, but that is not physical, sir. That is behavioral. Here's a good one. Incompatible scents. A girl's natural scent, as self-conscious as they can be about having any smells at all, should smell like perfume to a man. I absolutely love the way my bed smells after my girlfriend has laid in it overnight. Gauged ears. Had a very attractive girl flirt with me heavily once, but the gauged ears made me feel like it would never work. Were they whispering to you? Poor hygiene, obviously. Implants/fillers. This is kind of a hard line for me. I want to know my girlfriend's real body. Out of shape. I care less about weight than it seeming like you literally just don't care about your health. Yeah, I have been attracted to girls of all shapes and sizes. Piercings. Some are okay to me, such as earrings. I'll try to be supportive either way, but not my preference. Tattoos. Some are okay. Again, not my body, but there are limits for me. That's fair. I can see each of those things that he's listed. If they don't add to the person like in an aesthetic type of way, it probably could easily become a turnoff. Fucked up toes and feet. Really on men and women. Like, bro, take care to take care. I agree. I love my feet. They're not always perfect, but I do like to take care of them because I understand the pleasure of having beautiful feet. Besides the obvious, I'd say that the biggest ick is probably fat women. But not like slightly chubby women. I'm talking about obese women. But that's about it. In general, I have very few icks. I mean, I get it. I get having a preference. I think it comes down to what that other guy said about like self-care. Not body shaming, but what it communicates about a person and how much they care or don't care about themselves, maybe. And that can be for a multitude of reasons, so I wouldn't judge. Chest tattoos. Most nose piercings. Gauges. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Also, eyebrows that could give Eugene Levy a run for his money. Hey Google, show me a picture of Eugene Levy.
Here is the image of Eugene Levy.
Oh dear. I used to have eyebrows like that. I did. I used to have big, heavy, little boy eyebrows, but then the 2000s happened and I plucked them for years and now I can't grow them back. They don't grow back. So if you'll notice, I actually pencil it in on special occasions. Smoking and way too much makeup. Something about the AI slop look you find on old profiles. Old? Okay, I think by old they mean online dating profiles. TikTok or even LinkedIn headshots doesn't sit right with me. Translating to this, it's a heavy makeup look that steps into the bridge of the uncanny valley when they express how big they are in communication but are terrible when it comes to communication. That's not physical, bro. It's about physical traits, not behavioral. I hope the men talking about hygiene know they have to wash their asshole with soap. FYI and PSA. And where are you finding all these women with hygiene issues? Is that a thing? You'd be surprised. Redditor. Perhaps she needs to spend some time watching the compilations of like the people who do like waxing and the horror stories. I think when you listen to a few of those, it'll make a lot more sense why so many guys are coming across women who don't, yeah. Definitely those long fake nails. I cut my nails. I had long nails. They've been long for a while. I actually cut them last night and I'm pretty proud about it. But they're natural. They're not fake. No man has ever said, she's perfect, except I wish her lashes were longer. Yeah, I cut my lashes. I cut off my eyelashes. And I've never been told that, ever. No one even notices. I cut them off with the intention of putting falsies on. But if you notice, I actually never do because Beyond the general basic hygiene, I find the fake eyebrows/lashes and heavy makeup really unappealing. Fake body enhancements are also a turnoff. Sloppy overweight is bad too. Heavy floral fragrance is bad as well. Oh, then you're gonna hate me because I love floral fragrances. I actually also like wood. Fake anything, especially lips. Stop, lol. Yeah, it seems like a lot of these guys, even the ones that I'm skipping through, are saying lips. It works on some people, but then others, it doesn't. And then, long term, doesn't it do that thing where it migrates up into the nostril? I would feel very self-conscious if I had to deal with that. I will keep my natural lips. Really large body modifications or piercings. My body has an automatic ouch reaction to them. When he says really large, I would wonder if he's referring to the ones that are they're in the nose, but then they're really thick. When I see those, the vibe that I get, and no offense to anyone that has them, the vibe that I get is, I really don't like myself vibes. So let me just do the weirdest thing I can think of to the part of my body that I hate the most. And that way, no one will see it when they look. I don't know what the thought process is, but it just screams insecurity to me. I don't see anyone modifying themselves so intensely without having some degree of self-hate. The basic stuff, hygiene. If she looks gross and smells gross, then no thank you. I have my preferences, but even if I'm not attracted to a particular girl, I can appreciate when she's approachable, smells nice, dresses nice, etc. I'm not genuinely repulsed by too many people in general. So as long as they bathe, brush their teeth, and dress like they care, like wearing pajama pants in public or smelling like urine, I don't care about much beyond that. Hey, they don't know I slept in them the night before? Smokers. Yeah, I get that. No, the smell of the smoke is just so obnoxious. I'm not criticizing anyone who smokes. I can't stand the smell, and I don't want to smell it on everything. Doesn't that just feel kind of scummy to have all your items smelling like this smoke smell? I don't know. I could never do it. I could never live with someone who was smoking, for sure. I wonder if when he said smokers, he also meant weed, because I can't do that either. Obesity. There's a point where thick turns to fat, and it's not my jam. Fair enough. To cut away from the typical icks guys have, like smoking, body odor, etc., one physical one that I have is disproportion. She can't help that. It doesn't get an immediate no from me, but I find it off-putting when a girl's assets are out of proportion to the rest of her body. Like a skinny girl with huge breasts and ass, or a big girl with nothing on top or around the back. I don't really care about asset size, nor do I really have weight standards. I like a big girl just as much as I like a petite one. But I do prefer their bodies to be more uniform to their physique, I guess. Gummy smile can turn a 10 into a 5 for me. She can't help that. Sometimes it's cute. I'm surprised that those magic marker brows aren't mentioned more in this thread. I've seen it a few times. I'm all for how you dress, and your hairstyle tells a lot about your personality. So care in hairstyle, even more when you're only 25 to 35, gives me the ick. In clothes, ballerinas, training suits, out of the sport context, or any goth style clothes. Goth girls are fire. Yeah, to each his own, but goth girls will be protected at all costs. What's your at? Really? Tattoos that cover the entire chest. Baby hairstyles. Baby hairstyles. Big fake lashes. Loud hair colors. BBLs. Talons. Oh, scratched it out. Long fake nails. Baby hairstyles? What is that? Does he mean like the little baby hairs on the side? Tattoos that cover the entire chest. I'm gonna disagree. I love a good chest tattoo on anybody. Appearance icks. Too much makeup and ridiculously large fake eyelashes. Plus, dress so low cut that her tits are falling out. Personality. A sense of entitlement and ignorance that most men work hard for their money. There are women who work hard for their money too. What? Working hard does not discriminate. Accent ick. Broad Scouser or Geordie accent. I don't know what either of those is. How specific. God, I wish some of these accompanied a full body photo of the author, even with the face obscured, because it's always the fat men who are the most fat phobic. Sometimes. I've seen it. I've seen people on like dating apps. Don't message me if you're not in shape. And it's like, well, you're... Personally, I can't stand when women talk like they're making a TikTok video. The over-exaggerated facial expressions, the little quips and side eyes, constant use of like and literally. Probably half of women aged 18 to 25 talk like they're making a story time TikTok. Or get ready with me or some shit, even when it's face to face. I don't think that's all TikTok-y, the likes. I notice that I say like a lot, but I'm from California. What are we supposed to say? Fake anything. It's more of a mental thing for me that makes me get the ick from them. If they're high maintenance, ick. If they're entitled, ick. If they're able to cheat or can overlook cheating, ick. And this will lead to not just ghosting, but also erasing their existence in my mind. I like that. That's a good answer. I mean, I get it. This thread was actually about physical icks, but I can respect that answer. Filthy feet. I almost had a one-night stand and left when I saw that her feet were fucking nasty. She probably doesn't wash her ass if her feet look that bad. That's fair. You gotta take care of your feet, you guys. It doesn't take that long either. There's so many resources out there. It used to be tricky when they only had that little pet egg thing on the market. Now you can go on Amazon and there are a lot of different options as far as exfoliating the feet. And not pumice. I hate pumice. There are options out there that work that you can do at home. You don't have to pay nobody to maintain your feet. Also, constantly trying to text me and getting angry when I'm genuinely busy and can't respond. That could be a turnoff for anyone, really. And I think people of all genders are guilty of doing that. Bad attitude, smells, big ego, an ugly soul, entitlement. Pretty straightforward. Septum piercing. So many of these people have said septum piercings, but this guy looks like he has some explanation as to why he doesn't like it. Look, if having one makes you feel better about yourself, then by all means get one. But I have never seen a septum piercing and thought to myself, oh wow, that really improves their look. I have yet to see a septum piercing that does not detract from the wearer's appearance. I've seen a few. I've seen some really work well. Princess complex. If you're an adult, don't behave like a spoiled child. I'm busy AF making money. I don't have time to make sure you're perfectly comfortable and content at all times. It's like some of these girls have never heard the word no before. End rant. Where have you been shopping? Unpopular opinion, dark shades of lipstick. Just can't stand it. I like it on other people, but I've never been able to wear it. I don't know, if you can pull off the dark shades like black, go for it. You have my respect. I can't do it. Oh, here's one that no one has said yet. Mine has always been damaged hair. I personally love running my fingers through hair and feeling it not as soft as I'd like is a turnoff. I understand that. I like to run my fingers through hair as well. Feminism. What about outie belly buttons, varicose veins on the legs and feet due to genetics, pregnancies, and working on my feet a lot? Or having a gap in between front teeth? I think this is a woman asking that. Of course, there's no responses, but girl, there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. You're fine. I think we've pretty much touched on everything. There's hundreds of comments here, almost 700 comments. So I think we will close with this one. Having icks about men or women. Usually icks aren't basic things like bad personal hygiene or having a shitty personality. Those are pretty much a given turnoff for most people. Icks seem to be personal differences and preferences that aren't inherently bad that people use to judge other people. Like one I saw where a woman in an Instagram reel said a grown man wearing a backpack is an ick. Like what? We're only allowed to use messenger bags and mess up our spines because you think they're more stylish, or you think only children wear backpacks? Or another one was being into Pokemon. Okay, so you have different interests, move on. Maybe I'm not seeing icks in a context other than social media, but I feel like that's the general vibe. What do you think about this one? Hopefully you enjoyed doing something a little different today. I don't know, maybe I'll look for that thread about women stating their physical icks about men. Personally, I don't like to consider things ick. There are things that I like and what I don't like, and I'm not gonna put down someone else's body just because I'm not attracted to it. I do think it's important to take care of yourself, but that I think is more a matter of how someone sees themselves in the world. If I meet a guy and he's not taking care of himself, I'm less concerned about the look and more concerned about what's going on up there that makes him think it's okay, or makes him okay with appearing the way that he does and not caring for himself. So yeah, what are your icks about women? Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed this adventure. We're going to explore lots of Reddit. There are so many more subreddits outside of Aita Saga and Make My Choice. We're going to go on some adventures here. I think we will. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah!